So who's ready for a janky Jeskai combo deck where I win by playing just one lizard? Well, your opponents won't be, especially when it does 20 damage to their face out of nowhere. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today a quick video where I'm dusting off an Outlaw combo deck I've been meaning to play for weeks. Firstly though, if you'd all be so kind as to drop a like on the video and subscribe below for future janky brews just like this one. But onto the deck, and our 20 damage combo today revolves around Warleader's Call, Double Down, and my new favourite lizard rogue in Hellspur Posse Boss. So Double Down is a 4-mana enchantment that copies outlaws you cast, and Warleader's Call, as you probably know, pings your opponent for 1 when a creature ETBs on your side of the battlefield and gives all your creatures +1/+1 too. Now your Posse Boss is a 2/4 that ETBs with 2 1/1 mercenaries, so that will be 6 ETB damage from 6 creatures. Then you've got 14 power to swing at your opponent's face. Okay, so that's the dream, but what else are we running? Well, we have outlaws and cheat ones at that. Charming Scoundrels and Requisitioners make treasure amongst other things, and you got to bear in mind we may have Double Down around, so we're going to get a lot of value and a lot of extra creatures. Extraction Specialists and Masterminds, our non-red rogues, help keep the value train rolling while adding more bodies to the board. Then we've got 2 other creatures that can potentially win the games themselves. Scalestorm Summoner is a 3-mana 3/3 warlock that when it attacks creates a 3/1 dino. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, well, we have plenty of ways to have 4 power creatures, including Roaming Throne. You almost always want to name Rogue early on with your Roaming Throne, but late game name Warlock for some extra dinos if you want. Roaming Throne, as always, works so very well in creaturey tribal style decks. Interaction wise, I've got Play with Fires and Brotherhood's Ends, 24 lands, and that is today's deck. Okay, so this deck is a total blast to play. It really is a crazy little brew, but if your pieces hit the battlefield in a timely manner, you get to do some serious damage very quickly. Stay tuned until the end when I will go over the stats and any changes I would make, but in the meantime, like, subscribe, grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back and see how I got on today on the ladder with my Jeskai jank. Alright then, who's ready for some janky combo outlaw action? This hand is pretty mediocre, but we're going to keep it anyway. No white mana, but fingers crossed we find something to do. Requisitioner is nice. We can always blitz that for a mana or a treasure, sorry, and a card. Or just play it. We'll see. Okay, well, Scoundrel is good enough for us here. We'll drop this. We'll make ourselves a treasure so we can start playing these specialists. Tap the opponent. And hopefully poke him down to 19 damage. So I've had this deck ready to go for what seems like about 5 or 6 weeks now. Just never really had a chance to use it. It's so very, very janky. And this particular version, I feel like you can de-jankify it if you wanted something a little bit more robust. But decided to start it again today and see how we get on. I can blitz out the Requisition here. What's pretty cool is next turn we can play the Specialist and we can return the Requisitioner to the battlefield. So, neat little interaction. We draw our Double Down. Okay, I mean, does that change things? Necrogen Rot Priest, alright. Not what I expected to see. Well, this is our window, I think, to drop Double Down. I'm going to take a little bit of damage here. Necrogen Rot Priest does, I think it's 3 poison. It does an extra toxic counter. Well, 2 Rot Priests is going to be annoying. We're going to go up to 5 poison here. Interesting. So potentially we could die next turn, depending on what they have in their hand. They can certainly, well, in fact, yeah, we're pretty much dead on board. Yeah, we need to get as much down onto the battlefield as possible here. Luckily we have a Double Down though, so yeah, we just need some blockers here. Our Brotherhood's Ends are pretty bad against these Rot Priests with their 5 toughness. In fact, 5 toughness is pretty good against our deck. We'll play Specialist here though, and we can return the... In fact, we can return both the Requisitioner and the Scoundrel to the battlefield. Make a treasure here, and then that will enable us to cast the other Requisitioner from our hand. So Double Down coming in actual clutch on this particular turn here. We suddenly got a major board state. Now our Scoundrel and Requisitioner Can't block or attack, but just being on the battlefield is pretty nice. Okay, Shelly, the 5-mana Shelly. Well, we can sacrifice the Requisitioner that doesn't attack or block, and we get a treasure out of that. So yeah, loads of value in this deck. Play with fire available. Not too concerned about that one. Okay, Warleader's Call, sure. I'm nervous about their deck. I'm nervous like about a board wipe. Our toughness on our creatures is so low. I think we have to play this Warleader's Call just to make ourselves a little bit more powerful. Now, we need to always make sure that we don't miss lethal. That is something I've done with this deck previously. I think what I want to do is attempt to kill one of their creatures, though. Definitely attack with one of these 4-power creatures. They're going to block, presumably, and then we can just play with fire, whatever they block. So let's do that. Let's jump in with a Requisitioner. Maybe I should have gone in with the non-token one there, because we could have brought that back out with the Specialist another turn. But let's finish off Sheldred here, get this off the board. Even though this card isn't actually doing too much, they do have Tamiyo Safekeeping. Fair enough. Not what I really expected to see. But yeah, I mean, they're just holding open, what, the Rot Priest, Death Touch abilities here. Can we get a second double down? Is that a little bit greedy? Let's go for the Scalestorm Summoner. It's going to make 2 of these. Once we can start attacking with these, we can start doing a lot of damage. And also our Warleader's Call here is pinging our opponent. So yeah, I mean, we're just building up a large board. We're probably going for attacks next turn and potentially win. They can block 3 of our creatures, but we'll have more than enough damage coming through, especially with our summoners creating creatures of themselves. Vraska for our opponent. Alright, I mean, they have to. Yeah, they have to take care of one of these summoners. Get a treasure out of it. Holy moly, what's turned up to the party? It is our Posse Boss, and this has got to be lethal. Surely this is lethal. Do I have to even think about playing this? I don't think so. So we're going to get 2 copies of the Posse Boss. Everything's going to have haste. And it's going to ping our opponent a load of times here. I mean, yeah. I know that this is lethal if they're on 20 life. So they do have some blockers though, but this is more than enough. And this is exactly what our combo's trying to do on game 1. I'm so very proud of my little humble Outlaws deck. It was originally a Rogues deck, but there's too many non-Rogues in the deck to call it that. And yeah, we smash our opponent here and take down the Golgari Toxic deck. Alright, game number 2. Much better opening hand here. Yeah, we have the treasure makers, so we just need to find our double down. Last game went extremely well. Probably play the Shivan Reef here. Although we'll take a damage to use the play with fire. It's a good time to play it anyway. Opponent with a mountain. And the Phoenix chick enters the fray. Well, I'm just going to shoot that. We would have taken a damage anyway from it, but whilst we have open mana, there is our double down. Fantastic. Love to see it. So, Charming Scoundrel here, make a treasure. If we're up against mono red, I kind of fancy our chances if we can drop a turn 3 double down. Infantry for our opponent. Yeah, we're going to absolutely be dropping a turn 3 double down. So, although we've lost a slight bit of tempo there, every creature we play now is going to make a copy of it. So, yeah, I mean, except for our Roaming Throne, our honorary non-outlaw in this deck. Whittled it down to just the one. I'm not going to play a kind of tribal style deck without playing Roaming Throne. It's not what I do. But they do boost up their infantry here to an 8-7. I mean, sure, we'll take that. What's he going to end up on? As a 4-5? Alright, well, we can't actually Brotherhoods end that, which is annoying, but we certainly can double spell, quadruple spell. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're going to certainly be able to get 4 creatures onto the battlefield now. So we will Requisitioner here. And Scoundrel. Brotherhood's End's pretty bad, but I want to just get some Wicked Roll tokens onto our creatures to boost up their toughness and power so we can block. We're going to have to block. Because This infantry is going to be a nightmare otherwise. We don't really have any hard removal in the deck. They do have a shock. We're going to get a treasure out of this. Hit the opponent for 1 with the Wicked roll. And reinforce Ronin. Alright. Oh, the smash. Okay. Okay, well, I definitely want to kill the infantry. Ronin is annoying. Kind of want to kill that as well, but just want to make sure the infantry dies. Obviously, lose a few creatures here, but I'm just pretty happy that every single creature we play now is going to double up, so... Okay, obviously no creature there. Warleader's Call. Not the worst draw for us, though. I mean, if we wanted to win this game, Warleader's Call is definitely something we're going to need, but we need to survive this particular turn. Ronin. What have they got? Monstrous Rage. 5-3. Okay, well... We're going to soak up a little bit of damage? Nah. And that, my friends, is lethal off the top of our deck. I want to say I'm lucky, but this is what the deck's meant to do. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be, what, 22 damage, I think, to them with the Scoundrel. Okay, that's the deck, and we'll keep going, because that was a little bit lucky, but... That's the combo. Alright, game number 3. 2 combos in a row. This hand with 2 Posse Bosses, I'm definitely keeping this one. You know, I played this kind of similar deck for the longest time a few weeks ago, and I couldn't double down Warleader's Call and Posse Boss to save my life. But today, I've done it 2 games in a row. That is a Scoundrel, a nice little turn 2 play for us here. Opponent with a... tapped Gruul land, so hopefully the play with fire comes in handy when they play their mana dork. Right on time, Bramble Familiar can say goodbye and enter the graveyard. Alright, well, got all our Jeskai colours, so we'll play Scoundrel, and I always like to make a treasure. Means we can play turn 4 or turn 3 Posse Boss, or even a turn 3 double down if we draw it. We'll see what we do here. Okay, they plot. Oh wow, Warleader's Call. They plot a Trailblazer. Oh, that is interesting. I mean, I could play the Warleader's Call, but I think I just want to get some creatures down. And smash for 3. Yeah, it's not what I would normally do. I would normally have gone Warleader's Call into Posse Boss next turn, but we've still got another Posse Boss in our hand. And if they start playing some massive creatures, I want to make sure I get down early threats. Terror of the Peaks for our opponent. Alright. Okay, we might not see another turn as we find a second or a third Posse Boss. So if we'd done this the other way round, we'd be playing Posse Boss now and just smashing our opponent for a load of damage. But without double down, it's not really that great. Warleader's Call does make us able to attack for a little bit more. Let's pump up our Posse Boss a little bit. And surely they're not going to block this. If we can get them down, they don't. If we can get them down to a lowly life total, then maybe one of these other Posse Bosses is lethal without double down. I mean, but with Terror of the Peaks on the battlefield, this is going to be a problem. I'm not too concerned about Bramble Familiar, and I'm not too concerned if they want to attack. Okay. Okay. I guess we just go for our 4 mana play. Do we have lethal here? I think we could do. We'll see what their life total is after these triggers. They've got 2 mana open. We've got them down to 8. They block our 3 biggest things. They go down to 2. So they're not dead, and they do have a Warleader's Call on the battlefield with potentially 6 mana. So let's pump up our Posse Bosses and attack with these. We'll threaten lethal, so they have to make at least 1 trade or chump. Hopefully they block with Terror of the Peaks. Nope. Okay, well, they need to do 20 damage to us right now. It's very possible, but they only have 4 mana. And just Posse Boss off the top of our deck would take them down to 1 itself. So yeah, I mean, this is working extremely well. Our deck is doing a lot here. This Posse Boss is brutal with the Warleader's Call or double down. They don't play a spell, and I am sorry, opponent, but I think you're going to die now unless you can do something quite dramatic with the board. Posse Boss takes them down to 1, but opponent scoops it up. Alright, game number 4, and I do not like this hand. Let's mulligan that. Okay, this is way better. We'll keep this. Still not entirely sure of my land. You might want to play Cavern of Souls in this deck. I was umming and ahhing about that. We have a lot of rogues early on, but then when we start wanting to play Posse Boss and things like this Summoner, which is a Warlock, then we'll get rid of the Coast here. Yeah, the Cavern of Souls isn't so great, but I'm going to just keep playing for a bit because I was just going to make a short video showing the combo going off, but we've won 3 in a row and I really didn't expect that. Opponent with a Dimir, it looks like. So presumably they're just going to counter whatever we do. So let's just pass the turn. Hopefully they tap out. And of course they don't tap out. Fair enough. Alright, well, we've got to do something. So let's blitz out this Requisitioner. Okay. Can that be countered? I think it can. It's just an alternate casting cost, so. And if they want to destroy this, I'm fine with that as well. Cut down, sure. Well, we still get a treasure out of it, and we're going to draw a card out of it, so it's replaced itself. Fair enough. I'll take that. Okay, they are missing a land drop. We draw a canal. Tap land. So they didn't have a counter spell last time. Let's go for Extraction Specialist now. Trying to get that Requisitioner back onto the battlefield. We could have played a land before this in case they have like a Make Disappear or something. But I really want to play the Spirebluff Canal instead. And they do have another removal. It's go for the throat. Taking care of our Specialist, but we still get our Requisitioner, which can now attack and block, so their one-on-one removal is actually not doing too great as we're able to place our cards quite well. Lord Skitter, sure. Lord Skitter's a little bit annoying with the Extraction Specialist, but we've already got a load of value there. Alright, we just need our enchantments. I want to say this deck is reliant on those enchantments, but I'm not entirely sure it is. I think it's reliant on the enchantments or Posse Boss. Okay, we'll finally get white mana, which is nice. But they are tapped out, so let's go for a Summoner. Summoner creates dinosaurs if a creature has 4 power on your side of the board. There isn't many ways we can do that. We can use, obviously, the Warleader's Call, but once we get a Posse Boss on the battlefield, we can start pumping up our Posse Boss. Opponent with a Faerie Mastermind. Okay, main phase. Definitely going to play with fire that. Finally have a target there. So I really want a Warleader's Call here. Okay, just a Plains. Okay, we are flooding out a little bit. We'll play the other Summoner, and I guess we can attack with one of these. They're blocking. Alright, I mean, is this going to be a board wipe? I did not expect to block then, to be honest. Okay, they find their 4th mana. They just say go? Alright, I'm slightly confused. We'll get in there for 6. This is an odd game of Magic. Faerie Mastermind, okay. I think it's going to block my Requisitioner. I think I'm just going to shoot that. Another target for our Play with Fire. Just hold open the Sokenzan and Otawara. See where the turn takes us. Bring out 2 1/1s potentially next turn, or this turn. Go for the throat on our Summoner. Alright, well, I mean, we'll just bounce that. Put that back into our hand. I quite like the Summoner. Get in there with their rats, alright. That is what I'm talking about. Warleader's Call. Okay, okay, that's what we needed. Well, I'll definitely play the Warleader's Call. It's the card I don't want countered. Play the Summoner. Poke the opponent for 1. Take them down to 9. And they are going to be dead next turn as these rats don't block. The Summoner's going to create a dinosaur and opponent scoops it up. Alright, bonus game. I wasn't going to play another game here, as I was pretty comfortable with the 4 wins, but I just want to play another one because why not, eh? Hand is really nice though. We have double Down and Warleaders Call. Another Dimir deck it looks like, but we'll play Scoundrel and Smash, making a treasure along the way. Double Down next turn. Yeah, I mean, this seems relatively easy going. Again, we need another white mana. I definitely need to just look at the mana situation slightly to ensure that we get white mana on turn 3. Unfortunately, they don't play a spell. Okay, well, I'm just going to attack. And play land and what, say go? I don't just want to play a spell into their counter spell. Obviously, they might not have one. Siphon Insight. They probably do have a counter spell. Siphon Insight is just a way to do something if there's nothing to counter. Maybe we could have played. If we had white mana, I would have played the Warleader's Call. But having to use our treasure to do that is annoying. Or we're just going to have to go for it now, as we've pretty much drawn a blank with Play with Fire. Yeah, they hate negate. Okay, fair enough. We do lose our treasure though, so that is annoying. I'm kind of glad we didn't play Double Down, although that's the card I want on the battlefield, especially if we're playing up against a more control-y game. And Shelly, sure. Okay. And we find land, sure. Well, I mean, this gives us a chance to play Double Down here. No attacks, I guess. Roaming Throne is not going to be great, as it's not an outlaw, but we are slowly putting our pieces together. Yeah, that negate was annoying. Shakedown Heavy, okay. So Shakedown Heavy and Shelly is a little bit frustrating, as they're going to start gaining a load of life, but I'm really not too concerned about them gaining too much life. We find Brotherhood's End, okay, well. Not really the type of deck Brotherhood's End's good against. If they block though, I will Brotherhood's End and Play with Fire that Shelly. Okay, that was maybe optimistic, but we get to play our Roaming Throne here. Honestly, I thought that was going to be countered. Maybe they just don't have any creature counters? What are we naming? I guess Rogue. Considered naming Warlock. To be honest, our hand is very medium against this opponent. Rona's Vortex kicked. Okay. Yeah, it does tap them out though. I don't really want to take 10. Okay, well, we get a chance. Well, we need white mana actually. We do not draw a white mana. I mean, Warleader's Call into what we've just drawn, Hellspur Posse Boss, would have been great. I really wish we didn't play that Warleader's Call earlier. That got countered. Is this the game that's going to come back and beat us? We'll go for that play that I tried to make last time. Okay, they're not falling for it a second time, so... Question is, I could blow up the board here and then Play with Fire Shelly. Leave them with a heavy, which we can keep tapping out, but... I don't know. I don't know if this is the right play. Let's just make some creatures. If they've got spot removal, they're going to have to deal with this board one card at a time, so... Or just play the Brotherhood's End that they took from us earlier with their Siphon Insight. Okay, they had the nuts in the end. Are we dead here? Tiny Bones? I guess we're not, and I guess we can block Shelly. Oh, opponent. They're just attacking with the Shakedown Heavy. Why didn't they attack with Shelly as well? I know they would have lost it, but we would have lost our creature. We go down to 4. We have to deal with Sheoldred. I guess our 2/4 survives. They lose their Tiny Bones. This blooming Shakedown Heavy is so frustrating for us here. We've been so close to just getting there. We just needed that Warleader's Call into the battlefield. I'm kind of resigned myself to us losing here, but we haven't lost yet, and I'm pretty sure our deck has the opportunity to just win out of nowhere. Please block. No. So, yeah. We need them to kind of brick a little bit. Lily. Doesn't really change too much for us, especially if they just make a sack a creature. That's fine. Gix is a little bit more frustrating. Drawing so many cards. And play with fire. Okay, okay. Alright, well, we have to play Extraction Specialist here just to get some bodies onto the board. I guess these have lifelink, which is pretty nice. Treasure into Warleader's Call, I think. Warleader's Call will at least make our specialists 4/3, and getting this onto the battlefield means we're potentially just a posse boss off the top away from winning. Slaughter Specialist for our opponent here. Okay, ping the opponent for 1 as they give us a 2/2. Make us discard our play with fire. Yeah, that's fine. I honestly didn't think we would be completely out of it. Or completely still in it. I kind of want this Shakedown Heavy tapped. Which would mean we'd need to double block. Nah. And I think Gix has to go. Well, we have to make a block here on their creature, so just checking which creature enables us to attack with Scoundrel. I think blocking here is the better one. What do they have? 3 steps ahead. I make a copy of Gix. Fair enough. Legend rule it. Okay. I mean, that was just cheeky, wasn't it? As we just draw a mountain. Alright. I just feel that even though they're on 22 life, we're just a top deck away from potentially winning. I think we have to make an attack here just so we can gain some life back. Now they've gone for the block with the Shakedown Heavy. That's fine by me. Slaughter Specialist that gets a +1 counter. We're up to 7. We're going to lose one of our creatures from Lily. Potentially. Left the mana in our hand just in case they want to make us discard instead. Nope. And we'll get rid of our 2/2. Okay, Specialist now a 5/5. Never seen that card do so much work as it's doing now. And they get in there. Again, we're going to have to make a block. Massacre Girl's annoying. They're going to start drawing more cards. I guess that's kind of what our deck misses a little bit, is the card draw. But yeah, I wasn't expecting the games to go on as long as this one. But we're keeping up slightly. The cards that we're not drawing, at least we're making 2 copies. We just need a creature here off the top of our deck. Hellspur Posse Boss. Right. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Siphon Insight our face. Let me get my maths right here. Because we could absolutely win the game here. This Massacre Girl, though, is a bit annoying. So, opponent is going down to 15 here. Okay, so they're going to go down to 2 if we just hit a tackle, which is not dead, and also the Massacre Girl would survive. I mean, they would just win back on the crackback. So, what I think I'm going to do is just attack with the Scoundrel. We'll pump it up to full power. And then, yeah, we'll just attack with that and then potentially try and win next turn. I mean, we're in a decent position. Oh, no. The UI slightly moved over there as I was targeting the Scoundrel. Okay. Alright, well, we'll attack with the Posse Boss then. I wanted to attack with Scoundrel. I wanted the toughness of the Posse Boss. I mean, this is the game. We've gotten down to 11. We could have gotten down to 2. So very, very, very close. Opponent with my Extraction Specialist. It's got to be nice. They have a 3/2 lifelink as they get in there with Slaughter Specialist. I mean, we have to block. I can't believe the Slaughter Specialist is currently a 6/6. Never seen it so high. Yeah, I mean, we'll just put the Scoundrel in front of it. The other cards have something else they can do. We're still just the top deck away from winning. Fortunately, Massacre Girl is going to draw them cards here. And they go into Geese. I hope that's not the card they just drew, because I feel like this game has just about got away from us. There was that small window of opportunity, but I don't know. I mean, we're still on 6 life. It's just we can't take any hits from this specialist. It would be nice if we could just take a hit. Interesting game here. They get in there with the Extraction Specialist and the Posse Boss. Sorry, the Slaughter. So 2 specialists coming at us. Well, we have to chump. I guess we'll just block this. Maybe we could have just blocked with the 3/5. Who knows? Still, a Posse Boss off the top could potentially be lethal. We've got quite a lot of damage still that we can do with our board here. We've been a bit lucky already in these games to draw Posse Bosses when we need them. Warleader's Call, not so great here, especially as the opponent has Negate. Wonder how long they've had that in their hand. And we'll just play this land and say go. I think this has got away from us. I'm pretty sure if they just attack with everyone, they win here. Well, pretty sure they definitely win here. Okay. They don't want to attack with everybody. Sure. Well, we have to chump the specialist. We can still take 7, so we just need to kill one of these creatures. We'll just double block. Fortunately, it has Menace. So we go down to 1. Opponent gets to play something from our graveyard. I just think they should have attacked with everybody, even if I'd blocked. I didn't do the math, but if they'd blocked, my creatures with Massacre Girl would have been withered down to barely anything. Brotherhood's End, not great either. So the last 3 draws, land, Warleader's Call, and Brotherhood's End, not particularly great. Yeah, I wonder if I could have played that differently earlier when we made that 1 attack by using the mercenaries to target our creature, clicking the wrong creature. I don't know if that was a misplay or whatever, but opponent gets us, and sure, I'll take that loss on the chin. We won 4 before that, so it's not that bad. Okay, so let's check the stats for this deck over on untapped.gg, and as you can see, my Jeskai Outlaws combo deck here went 4-1, losing the last game there to a Dimir deck. So not too bad. Where is it? There it is. 80%, 100% on the draw. I mean, we only played 5 games, but we can only play the opponents that are put in front of us. I was very proud with our win against Mono Red, even though it was a little bit lucky. Checking the actual deck here, I put a small sideboard here for some extra cards you could play. I mean, you could take this deck whatever way you wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit budget conscious. I know we've got things like the Specialist and the Scoundrel. I think Scoundrel is pretty important in the deck, but you could certainly switch out the Mastermind and the Specialist. Wasn't really sure what I wanted in these particular spots. I've listed some cards over here. You could go for something like Nurturing Pixie. It can return creatures back to your hand, or more than one if you've got double down on the battlefield, and replaying things like Scoundrel or even the Posse Boss is quite a lot of value. So I kind of wish I put that in the deck, but white mana early on is not what our deck's trying to do. By the way, absolutely add some more white mana to the mana base, and even play Cavernous Souls if you want to. Gone for a Plunderer in the sideboard. I've played this card so much in this set, wanted to give it a time off, but it is a rogue and it would produce an awful lot of mana for you, so by all means throw that into the deck. Things like Kitesail Larcenist, being a pirate, means that they also trigger off double down, as outlaws include assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues and warlocks. A little bit off kilter here, a little bit sort of left field, could be something like Undercover Operative. When it ETBs, it enters as a copy of a creature on the battlefield, except it enters with a shield counter on it. It is a rogue, so it would copy with the double down. I don't know, copying the Posse Boss might be a really nice idea. Another card I didn't see till after the games. And then if you wanted something to kill your opponents without going through all of this palaver, with Warleader's Call on the battlefield, Song of Tottentans is a proven game-winning card, creating X 1/1 black creature tokens with this creature can't block, creature control gain haste until end of turn. If you can do X equals 4 or something, you're going to get 4 damage with Warleader Call, and then you're attacking with 8 power as well, hopefully enough to finish off your opponents. So to check out my stats for this video and all the decks I play, the link to my untapped.gg is listed in the description, and that's where you'll also find a link to download the deck tracker for yourself. You'll get to track your stats, see the top decks being played, and maybe find a deck or two that you can make with your collection. It is all over there on untapped.gg. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this video, supporting the channel as we grow, and I'll catch you again in the next video.